Thank you. I had what every 18-year-old guy had on his mind when I was about to finish high school. Ladies, it's not what you're thinking. I really, really wanted to transform the world. When I was a young boy, I was completely and totally aware of my own death. 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I lay awake in bed many nights knowing one of these days my life on earth will stop, it will end, and I was worried about what happens next. I went to talk to my family and I asked them, hey, what is out there after you die? And for years, I was absolutely petrified as an elementary school child about my own death. And on the night before the invasion, I provided a search and rescue force for the invasion force of over 50,000 U.S. men and women. As they secured those airfields, other members of the Army's 82nd Airborne Division would jump in, and then they would be followed by the entire invasion force on the morning of December 20th. So when I got back from Panama, there was still a lot about the Army, and actually a lot about myself that I wanted to experience. So the first chance that I got, I bought a ring and flew back to our hometown, and I proposed to my wife, Dawn, and we set a date to get married a year later. I flew back to our hometown. I literally got married a couple of hours after arriving, and a couple of days later, I was on my way back to Georgia, and not long after that, I was on my way to Kuwait as part of Operation Desert Storm. Now again, I was in dangerous circumstances there, but I didn't think that I would die. And Somalia, this little country on the Horn of Africa, it is an absolutely gorgeous city, but it was totally lawless at that point. There was no government and no control, much like it is today. Our mission was to try to find Aidid and the high-ranking members of his clan. And it was the most dangerous of all circumstances, but this was too important of an opportunity for us to pass by. So we launched a mission to go get these guys. As they were doing that, other rangers from my company loaded on Black Hawk helicopters and slid down ropes, we call it fast rope, to the four corners of the target building, and they held everybody inside the target building. And as all of that was going on, like I did on every mission, I led a column of Humvees through the city streets, and I'd drive them all back to our base. It was supposed to take about 30 minutes. And actually, for the first 30 minutes, this mission went almost exactly like we thought it was going to go. I placed myself and half of my men on a Humvee in front of them and the rest of my men on a Humvee behind them. And I called my boss and I said, I'm going to drive Blackburn back to our base and drop him off. And I started to drive away down a narrow alleyway. And Todd Blackburn certainly had head and neck injuries, and I didn't want to hit any of those potholes and make it worse. So I told my driver to drive really slow. Now in the movie it shows me driving, but actually I had a guy driving for me. The entire city erupted with gunfire on those three vehicles. We were being shot at from about 100 different directions at the same time. From rooftops and from alleyways and from doorways and windows, there were rocket-propelled grenades and automatic gunfire from AK-47s from 20, 30 feet away. I really wanted to transform the world. And I thought you could do it through military prowess. I thought you could do it through national power. But I realized something in Mogadishu, Somalia. There is only one force great enough to transform the world, and it is the Holy Spirit of the living God through God's Son, Jesus Christ.